Ladies and gentlemen, the Gungans and droids across our beloved empire. It's great to be in the empire today, and you know what you're watching? You're watching Arnold Holinet News, the only news you'll ever need. Because you have no other choice. And in today's episode of AHN, a little interesting. It looks like someone's been eyeing the Wampa and all the fun they've been having in Scandroid with their Omicron being a one-team wonder. No other friends, no other family, just going in, one-man soloing. Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum wants a piece of the action. We have an Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum Omicron, and there was an interesting thing in yesterday's State of the Galaxy, which, let's be honest, this was what should have been the road ahead for Galaxy of Heroes that we need to talk about here. Overall, in case you missed it, one of the biggest updates we're having this year so far, card at the top right-hand corner, like a 7 out of 10 update, I would say. This would be even better. Maybe I'm being a bit too disingenuous. Maybe 8 out of 10. Would have been a 10 out of 10 if they talked about the gear economy changes. They seem to completely forget about that. But otherwise, a lot of fantastic stuff. Jabba the Hutt, profundity, quality of life on mod stuff. And on that topic of mods, I want to bring this up here. This came up. A lot of people were discussing this. They were like, what the hell is going on here? As you see with this one mod, it says 3.31% taunt. And the first thing that came to my mind is, all right, that has to be a typo, right? Because that makes no sense. What does that even mean? And secondly, since it's a dev account, you know, there's some things that are not very practical. Like, it's very rare to get a perfect 10 on a blue on just revealing the stats. So I figured this was something of a mistype, or maybe it could have been a possible leak for the future mods, because you know there's going to be a 7.mods sometime in the future. Well, they did respond to this. They added this later on, saying there's some placeholder test data that slipped into the screenshot when we were mocking it up. Who knows what 3.31% taunt even means? So in case you're worried about this, I would say let's not worry too much about that, especially since there's no other oddball stats going on with the rest of these mods here. But nonetheless, this mod quality of life update seems to be hitting us in a couple hours here. This could be a huge thing. Unfortunately, they didn't change the mod cap, but you know, that's another conversation to be had. But anyways, today's main topic of conversation, it's kind of flew under the radar. Not a lot of people talking about it. If it's not on Reddit, people aren't really talking about it. They didn't know what's happening. It's kind of buried on the forums. But Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum's getting an Omicron, and probably a lot of you guys are going to click away from the video already because it's a Territory Wars Omicron. Now, you know, you guys know my opinion on territories. I think it's becoming slightly more important as of recently. Datacons are in there, but some people are just completely sidestepping Datacons, and I don't blame you. Relic 9 still not too important, although we are starting to see Relic 9 requirements for profundity, and I would be surprised if we did not get a Relic 9 requirement for Jabba the Hutt. So far, no Relic 9s for him, but I suspect that's going to happen sometime around the corner. And then, of course, we have our first Relic 9 requirement for any legendary-ish base thing, which is going to be the profundity this time around here. But let's take a look at it. This, you know, might be useful, but I have a feeling it's not going to be as good as Wampa, and I'll explain why I think it's going to be the case. Anyways, in case you guys need to remember, Ahsoka Tano is immune to damage over time effects, so kind of a call out to Anti-Vader, and gains 30% critical points at the end of each of her turns. She dispels all debuffs on herself and loses 10% health, and for each debuff dispelled, she then recovers 5% health for each buff on her. This health loss can't defeat Ahsoka, but the Omicron, when kicking in, Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum gains 25% defense, max health, offense, max protection, and an additional 35 speed. But furthermore, on top of it, if there are no other active allies at the start of the battle, which makes it sound like it's trying to be like Wampa, trying to be a one-man army type of team here, which it is a lot of fun when you pull it off here. It's a high-risk, high-reward type of character. Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum gains 100% armor penetration, critical avoidance, 75% defense, max health, offense, max protection, and this is odd, but stay with me for a second. A reduction of minus 60% tenacity. You might be like, why the hell would I want that? Well, this next type of line is going to be very important. When Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum dispels the debuff with her unique ability, Perseverance, she grants herself the opposite buff. So think of General Kenobi. If you have tenacity down, she's going to do a self-cleanse and then give herself tenacity up, speed down, speed up, offense down, offense up. If any, for 2 turns, and then 20% turn meter and protection up stacking to 20% for 2 turns per debuff. This spelled this way. So if she had 5 debuffs on her, she's going to get 100% turn meter, if we're reading this correctly. Huh. And then Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum ignores taunt effects, and enemies defeated by Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum can't be revived. So the point of this minus 60% tenacity is a bit counterintuitive, because you don't want to get debuffs on you usually. You want to get as many debuffs as possible on Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, because she can then convert it into opposite buffs, which, as you can see, you recover health for each buff you're getting on her. So that's part 1. You're getting tons of turn meter, lots of protection up to kind of compensate for the health reduction that you're getting. And then you're going to do some nasty damage with 100% armor penetration to critical avoidance. Super durable character, and she can ignore taunts and stop the revive. So it's trying to be like the Wampa of Territory Wars. The question is, what is she going to be capable of? What can she solo? With Wampa, it took a bit of time for us to kind of understand where Wampa was going. And we know at best, Wampa can solo some Sith Eternal teams. Wampa can solo General Anakin Skywalker, albeit it can be a little complicated sometimes, but it's a lot of fun. When it does work, Iden, Versio, Mon Mothma, it's been kind of a staple to Grand Arena. If you want to be uber competitive, you kind of need the Wampa Omicron. My suspicion is, though, is that Ahsoka's not going to be as good as Wampa. I think it's going to be all right. I think it's going to be cool. But the reason why I say that is Ahsoka Tano is she's mostly a character you can semi-farm easily. I know right now it's not showing up, but you can farm her out of the shipments, right? And she's not as expensive, whereas Wampa, let's pull out that lovely wonder of a character. This is a character people either love or hate. Some people hate the fact that this guy can solo the 501st here. With this character, you really only can farm it in the guild event store, which is very valuable currency. You need it for Malik, Gas, Hermit, Yoda, the list goes on and on. Gear, it's a much more lucrative area of the game. So my suspicion is this is going to be fine. It's going to be cool. Is it going to be desirable in Territory Wars? It's not on my radar, unfortunately. If it was for Grand Arena, I might be slightly more inclined. I always admit when my bias is, I have a bias for Grand Arena and against Territory Wars to an extent. I only invest in Territory Omicrons that are extremely transformative and important, like Mara Jade, Juhani, yada, yada, yada. But nonetheless, I think it's going to be a fun one. It's unfortunate Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum never was really amazing in the game, and it really sucks as well. They just still refuse to give her a lot of synergy with the Phoenix Squadron. I think it's a huge missed opportunity for that regard, but it is a lot of fun when you can set up the right combos, whether Grandmaster Yoda, some rebel-based teams out there getting tons of buffs. And you remember, another reason why you want her to get a lot of debuffs, because with her Omicron, she'll cleanse, convert it to buffs and all the other myriad effects. But on top of that, she's going to consume all of her non-unique buffs on her, do a ton of damage on them. She has minus 50% armor on the attack. She can't be evaded. And on top of it, we know she has 100% armor penetration and tons, 100% in total, increased offense. So she's going to hit really hard. So I would say don't sleep on this Omicron. I just don't know if this is going to be an Omicron that's going to be highly lucrative, highly valuable. But if you're someone that loves Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, she hasn't been really needed for much in Galaxy of Heroes for the most part. So if you are one of those of just a fan, boy or girl of Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, I think this is going to be a fun little addition to her kit. And we'll see. I would love to show some gameplay of this. I'll see if some other people can show us some gameplay, because it's likely not going to be one that I'm investing in, because we're eyeing right now a good old Darth Malgus sometime in the near future here. In a couple days, we're going to have Malgus around the corner. That's going to require 3 Omicrons. I'm trying to be a little budget friendly with how we use Omicrons here, but nonetheless, let me know what you guys are thinking. I know it's a bit of a bummer. It's not for Grand Arena. I think I might get Chrysanthemum's Omicron for Grand Arena before I do this one here, but I think there's going to be a lot of fun tied with it as well. A mini Wampa solo, if you ask me. So thank you so much for stopping by. Leave that like, comment down below, subscribe. Stay tuned. We have Chrysanthemum testing tomorrow, likely, and we have a lot of other stuff around the corner. So sit back, relax, sip on that Jawa juice. And as always, remember, my friends, it's great to be in the Empire today.